Is there anything I've left out? Is there anything that you would like to add?
Um, yes, regarding television, and not so much the television screen itself, um, but content. I believe that good content has value, and I think our business is going to be changing in terms of how consumers have access. Currently, in the online world, a lot of content is available for free, and I think that model is being rethought by many of the content creation companies. You see what's happening now with TV Everywhere and Comcast's new venture called Xfinity, where there'll be a user authentication process to allow people to access content on other platforms um, by proving that they've bought a cable subscription. I believe that Hulu and other services will probably go to some type of pay model. And I also believe that many of the programming that's out there will carry the commercials that advertisers have paid for in pattern, because I know many of these content companies want to have that additional viewership captured in commercial ratings. And that's why the drive for Nielsen to add the PC element into households has been accelerated. But in order to really be TV everywhere, you have to have measurement everywhere, and there's still many venues where outside of the home, where media consumption cannot be captured. There's still a huge obstacle in the workplace, for example, where we know from the VCM that a lot of media consumption takes place. And even with devices like the personal people meter, portable people meter rather, you cannot capture view listening in the workplace because it makes no distinction once you're out of your household. It's just inside and outside, so you really don't know where you're actually reaching a person. And to truly be anytime and anywhere, you really need to shed some light on the where.
What do you think about using set-top box data to get some indication of out-of-home?
I'm so interested that you brought that up. I meant to bring that up myself. I think set-top box data holds a lot of promise, but I think there has to be standards in terms of what counts as viewing. Do you really need second-by-second information? Um, how many seconds does somebody have to be watching something for awareness of what they're watching actually gels in their brain? Um, Also, what constitutes watching? How do you deal with set on and set off, and issues such as signal latency when one room may have something literally airing 5 seconds later because the circuitry in the set-top box device is different. The other issue is set-top box data is great, but it seems to be concentrated among a few providers. It's DirecTV Homes, it's TiVo Homes, and it's Charter and EchoStar, and they each have different footprints. And then what do you do about the sets that aren't connected? Because you may be a cable home or a satellite home, but maybe only one television is hooked up to that device. What about the secondary sets? So how do you compensate for that additional viewing? So I think a lot more work has to be done in that area, and that actually is a project that seems to be in the forefront of several different organizations, CRE, SIM, and the Collaborative Alliance, all working with the same types of issues. Many owners of set-top box data don't really want to offer that because they don't really see the benefits. So hopefully we can get additional companies such as maybe Bright House or Cablevision to let us see some of that data, so it's not just the same suspects all over again. We need a bigger footprint.
What would you see as a timeline for set-top box data to get to a certain level and where set-top box data has addressed some of these concerns? Do you think within 2010? Do you think it will take longer?
I think it's probably a couple years out. Not that I'm, you know, a naysayer by any means. I think a lot of it is to come to agreement on what standards should be, and to really get more participants from the owners of the actual data, for them to see the benefit, and probably the benefit for them will be the promise of additional revenue.
Is privacy an issue in set-top box data?
It shouldn't just be an issue in set-top box data. Consumers have willingly given away their privacy. You know, first of all, anyone who uses a charge card has pretty much given up a lot of information, because you have, you know, credit card companies and you know, credit checking companies that know everything about you. They have already tracked all your purchases, and anytime you register online, you've given away, you know, unless you're using, you know, lying about your age or using a different identity, you're also, you know, giving away information about yourself. So it's already out there. The horse has already left the barn. So, you know, that it's an issue suddenly with set-top box data is mind-boggling, because consumers have unwittingly given up the information. I know it's become a big issue in Congress. I think consumers really need to, maybe they're just unwittingly doing it. Maybe they need to be aware, and to give, maybe there has to be some type of permissioning going on. But, you know, I don't think that privacy issues reside solely with set-top box data.
I agree.